What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to bring you another one of my 2014 NAWCQ hat format deck profiles. The deck I wanted to bring you today is Noble Knight. It's a really cool deck with probably some of the coolest art and lore possibly in this format, in my opinion. It's based on the Knights of the Round Table, and its playstyle is very similar, using equip spells and things to make a big boss monster and protect it. This deck is considered a rogue deck. It can definitely compete with some of the top decks, but it's also slightly vulnerable to some things. But again, if it opens really well, it can definitely do some crazy things. And so I'm very excited to show you this deck profile. I have a ton of fun playing this deck. So let's get straight into it. So starting off with the monsters, the main monster of the deck, 3 copies of Noble Knight Madolche. This has the effect that it's considered a normal monster while face up on the field, and then it gains an effect based on if it's equipped with a Noble Arms equip spell. And what that effect is it becomes the opposite attribute, so it's a light monster, so it will become a dark monster. Its level increases by 1, and then if you control no other monsters, you're able to special summon a Noble Knight from deck, and then destroy one of your Noble Arms equip spells. Kind of fast forwarding to this, a lot of the Noble Arms equip spells, when they're destroyed once per turn, will re-equip to a Noble Knight monster. So when you summon another monster and then destroy the equip can then, in most cases, re-equip to the monster that you summoned off of this. So it's definitely one of your best cards, and it's your starter. Your second best monster is one of your 3 copies of Noble Knight Boars. This one, similar thing, it's considered a normal monster while face up on the field, and then gains the same effect to change the attribute and level while equipped. And what it does is you're able to reveal 3 Noble Arms while equipped, reveal 3 Noble Arms equip spells in your deck, shuffle them up, your opponent randomly picks one, and it gets added to your hand, and then you send the other ones to the graveyard, which is actually relevant for when we get into the Xyz monsters. So again, this one can just kind of get you to your Noble Arms spells, which is really good. After that, 1 copy of Noble Knight Dristan. While you control another Noble Knight monster, your opponent can't target your monsters with 1800 attack or less for attacks or with card effects, which is really good. So in theory, you can summon this off of the Madolche, and then it can't, your 2 monsters can't be targeted or destroyed by battle for that, or for attacks. They can't target it for attacks. And then it has the effect that when it's equipped with a Noble Arms equip spell, that you can target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. One thing with that effect is that is mandatory. So if your opponent doesn't have a face-up card, you will have to pop your own. So keep that in mind, and that's also why we just play the 1. After that, 1 copy of Noble Knight Gwalchavad. This one you have to play for, there's a really cool OTK line you can do. So you have to play that. Similar baseline effect, but the secondary effect while it's equipped is you can target a Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, destroy a Noble Arms equip that's equipped to it. One quick thing that I forgot to mention with Boars is Boars effect, how I said Madolche and Gwalchavad have to destroy a Noble Arms equip after using the effect. Boars does not, so Boars will keep whatever equip that's on it. After that, 2 copies of Noble Knight Gwaine. This one has a cool effect that while you control a light normal monster, which almost all of them are when they're not equipped with a card, you're able to special summon this card from your hand in defense position, which is really good because it allows you to make some rank 4s. 1 copy of Guinevere. I would probably up this to 2. Right now this deck is at 41 cards, so I would definitely make some slight changes if you want to bring that down to 40, but with how much this deck kind of deck thins on its own, I think that, 41 is completely fine. But this one is cool because it counts as a Noble Arms card while it's in your hand or graveyard, and it also has the effect to once per turn equip to a Noble Knight monster as a Noble Arms card from your hand or graveyard, and then it gains an effect based on if the monster's light or dark. It has like a protection effect, and it gives it a little attack boost and stuff. Really good card. That's it for the Noble Knights. After that, I play 2 copies of Max C and 2 Effect Veiler. This deck, having extra cards to draw is really good since you play kind of in a way where you want to see your combo starters. And then once you have your big boss monsters on the field, one of the things I found that it can lose to is certain extra deck cards. So that's why we're playing Veiler, because that kind of mitigates and stops that stuff. Moving on to the Noble Arms equip spells. 2 copies of Noble Arms of Destiny. This one makes a once per turn if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect. It's not. And then this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard. It has the effect to re-equip. After that, we play 1 Gallatin, which increases the attack of the monster it's equipped to by 1,000, and then during each of your standby phases, it loses 200 attack, and it also can re-equip. 1 Noble Arms Caliburn, which gives the monster 500 attack boost, and you can also once per turn gain 500 life points. That's a soft once per turn for that, so if this is destroyed and brought back, you can gain another 5, and again, it re-equips. 1 Noble Arms Arfaduder. This one, while it's equipped, pops set cards, and then it'll decrease the attack of the monster by 500. Also re-equips. That's it for the ones that re-equip. After that, we play 2 copies of Noble Arms Caliburn. This one, while it's equipped to a Noble Knight monster, it can't be targeted by card effects, and then it doesn't have the re-equip effect, unfortunately, but it does have an effect that besides the turn it's sent to the graveyard, you're able to banish it and basically rank up one of your Xyz that we'll get to in a bit, so it is very important. After that, 3 copies of Forbidden Lance. The cool thing with this is you can lance your monster and still equip, and they'd just be unaffected by it, but because they're still equipped, you can use the monster's effects. This is a good way to play around breakthrough skill and things to make sure that your, say, Madrat goes through. 2 copies of Duality. Sometimes you start a little slow and you need to find what you have. Or, between that and Max C, you can hopefully get into your combo starters. 2 copies of Instant Fusion, just to help make rank 4s. We'll get into that a bit more when we get to the extra deck. 2 MST to pop back row, and then 1 Rhoda to search anything. 1 Soul Charge. You don't really need Soul Charge in this deck, but it's nice to have it there. And 1 Dark Hole. Moving on to the traps. 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill. Again, similar to Veiler. The things that kind of kill this deck are going to be the extra deck cards and those effects. So it's just nice to have that. Bottomless, Torrential, Compulse, Warning, and again, I am playing 41, so the 41th card that I decide to go with, 41st card, whatever, is 1 copy of Blackhorn of Heaven. This is just another way, again, to stop extra deck. It felt like a second Solemn Warning in a lot of cases, so that's why I chose to play that. If you were to cut something, I would say maybe the Soul Charge is a consideration, or even possibly one of the Lances are probably the best bet for that. Moving on to the extra deck, we play 2 copies of Sacred Noble Knight of Artorgus. This needs 2 level 5 Noble Knight monsters, and then when it's Xyz summon, you can target up to 3 Noble Arms equip spells with different names in your graveyard and equip it to it. So that's why I said Boars is really important, that it sends them to grave because you're able to reuse them. Then you can detach a material from it, target a monster your opponent controls, and destroy it. And then it also has the effect that if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, that you can target a level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. 2 copies of Artorgus. It needs 2 level 4 Noble Knight monsters. When it's Xyz summon, same effect, re-equip up to 3. And then you can detach a material from it and pop spell and traps on the field, I believe. Destroy as many spell and trap cards, on the field, so it doesn't even have to be your opponent's, up to the number of Noble Arms equipped cards that you control. That's it for the Noble Knight Xyz. We play 1 Blade Armor Ninja. It just needs 2 warrior monsters, so it can help you OTK. 1 Heroic Champion Gandiva. This needs 2 warriors again. Again, most of the 4s, or I'm pretty sure all the 4s in this deck are. And once per turn, when a level 4 or lower monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, except during the damage step, you can detach a material and destroy that monster. 1 Black Ship of Corn, 1 101, 1 Heroic Champion Excalibur, being able to double its attack, so having a 4,000 beater, really strong. 1 Exciton, let me see, 1 Lavalval Chain. You can dump your spells as well to just fuel it more if you don't see what you need, or if you drew the 1 of Soul Charge, you're able to dump a monster and then maybe go from there. 1 Daigusto Emerald to put back some of your resources, particularly your instant fusion target if need be. And the last 4 is 1 Dweller. After that, I did choose to play the 1 Ignoble Knight of High Lancelin. You can make this with basically any of your Noble Knight monsters, the level 4s, plus Effective Ailer. And this one's cool because when it's Synchro Summon, you can equip any Noble Arms card from your deck to it. And then if it destroys a monster by battle, at the end of the damage step, you are able to search a Noble Knight monster or a Noble Arms monster. So it's cool to have. This doesn't come up super often, but I like having it in there. And when it does come up, it's really key. And lastly, Carbonala Warrior as the instant fusion target. It's a level 4 and it's a warrior, so it helps make any of your Xyz that require warriors, as I mentioned before. Really, really good card. Really key to do a lot of things. So real quick, I'm also going to just show you what I was talking about with the Madrot. So if you have Madrot and a Noble Arms that equips, so say Destiny, you'd summon the Noble Knight Madrot, equip it, use the effect, summon your Boars. This will be destroyed, re-equips to the Boars. Boars effect, you reveal 3, so we can pick any random 3 for this example. Let's say these. One of them will randomly be added to your hand. So let's say this, and these will go to grave. So this is in hand, you'll re-equip. These are now 5s, so you're able to overlay these for your king. These will fall off to graveyard, and then his effect will trigger re-equipping up to 3, so you can just pick whichever 3 effects you want, since they all have different names. So let's just say, for example, Destiny, to make so that if it would be destroyed by battle or card effects once per turn, it's not. We could do Galton to make him a 3200, and then we could do Caliburn to gain 500 life and also make it gain an additional amount of attack. So this is kind of like your big boss monster, you know, and then you try to protect it with other traps, and just these being like powerful cards to protect it is really, really strong. But anyways, guys, that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Let me know what type of content you want to see. If you have questions about side decking, cards to side in this deck, cards, you know, siding patterns, different things like that, or why I chose certain cards to play over other cards, definitely let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'll make a video on that. And anyways, I will see you in the next video.